to business to like what you're doing now? Because I think the best part of A-Rod's life is in front of him, right? Because I thought you were going to say you would rather be a business person than a baseball guy because the longevity of the career, you can't play baseball when you're 75. But you can still do business. Am I wrong?
No, you're absolutely right, but I'm just still that little nerdy boy that just loves baseball. It was my first love.
Got it.
And I got to wear pinstripes at 40, the same uniform that Babe Ruth, DiMaggio, Reggie Jackson,
we're all envious. Who's envious?
Yeah, I mean, that's...
Come on, he's the Yankee.
There's only 25 Yankees and 750 Major League Baseball players. And Grant, to me, the greatest gift that I have is I'm grateful. I'm grateful for everything that I have. I wake up every day and I thank the good Lord. And I'll tell you what, if you're grateful and you're disciplined and you have routine, and I'm going to teach you one or two things that I do every day, every morning, and every night that you can do when you get home that'll help your career. But if you have a vision and you have faith and I told my daughters, one of my daughters going through a hard time in math, and I sat down with her and we did it for 90 minutes. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. Let me tell you about my failures. You're a champion. It's in your blood. It's in your DNA. I'm brainwashing her, spending time with her, It's repetition. We have to be resilient, obsessed with process. Let's do it again. The same way I would get up at 5 in the morning and do 500 backhands because it was my weakness, and then it became my strength. Do it again, coach. Do it again. Explain it to me like I'm a third grader. Do not be embarrassed, men and women, boys and girls. Don't be embarrassed. There's never a dumb question. Let me walk that down. Take notes. Where's Liz? Where's Ashley? Raise your hand for my team. Okay, great. They're not here. Okay.
She's probably back here. Okay. Oh, there she is.
There they are.
She's always here for you, man.
So Ashley's great. She's been with us for 4 years. She gets promoted every year. Before you know it, she'll be making more money than me. But here's the great thing. Is I get all the young people and I bring them to the table. Because it's not enough to practice. You got to play. From age 20 to 30. Any 20 to 30?
20 to 30?
Yeah. I said, forget about what they're paying you. Find a boss that you like, that respect, that will mentor you, that will bring you to the table and give you some at-bats. You need to learn. It's not enough to read a book. It's not enough to come here. You need a mentor to say, get at the table and learn with me, and I'll teach you how to win.
So opportunity or money? What are you saying there?
Say what?
Opportunity or money? What should people be looking for today?
From 20 to 30?
Yeah.
Forget about money.
Yeah.
Get the opportunity. Get mentored. Because ultimately, Mike, right? Mike, how old are you, Mike? I can do that because you're a boy, not a girl. I know better. So, Mike, you're 44, I'm 45. If I was to look at you and I, we're now 80 and 81, right? What's going to define your success when we're sitting out there at the golf course talking about the good old days is your success will be determined by a few things. One of them will be who are your 5 mentors. And those 5 mentors are going to be in your ear giving you positivity, telling you not to quit, keep going, try this way. What we're looking for, ladies and gentlemen, are shortcuts. I don't need 9 people that are average. I need 1 person that can cut the line. You're here cutting the line. You're looking for opportunity. You could be at the beach, but you're here. So you're putting into the universe that you want to win, and you will win, and champions win, and that's what you are.
Let's go. Come on. A-Rod's in the building. Woo! Is everybody a champion? Does everybody have champion in them?
Absolutely. You just got to wake up, and it's in there, right? It's in there, and you have to look for it. And trust me, I've been at the canvas, man, a lot. You know, people don't know this, Grant. Everyone talks about those silly stats you mentioned. You know which is my favorite? The one you didn't talk about. Actually, I'm 5th all time. I'm 5th all time in the history of baseball in strikeouts. That means there's only 4 people in the history of mankind.
Who are they? Do you know who those are?
In the history of mankind, I do, who have more strikeouts than me. Now, that means I have a PhD in failing, okay? But I also have a master's in getting back up.
Wow.
And
she told her husband, write that down.
it is the truth. I'm not proud of it. I'm embarrassed to say it, but it took some courage. I'm faithful all the time. And gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, lead with the truth. Lead with it. Take the monkey right out. You know, I struggled. I made mistakes. I did performance-enhancing drugs. I served the longest suspension in Major League Baseball history, and people thought I was dead. My mom, my daughters, and I thought I was dead for a minute, but then I got back up. Grant, I would send emails. And handwritten notes. If you look at my Instagram, I'm writing Russell a thank you note. I try to sit down once a week, and I write you want to say, hey, my man, thank you. Let's go do great things. You're a champion. I'm a champion. Let's make it happen.
Yeah.
People wouldn't return my emails.
People
would not pick up my calls.
They wouldn't.
When I was being in suspension,
Got it.
I was a pariah. They wouldn't pick up my calls. It was heartbreaking.
Wow.
It was heartbreaking. But I did it to myself. So I had to pull myself out myself. And what happened was that I went into therapy, and I started working on myself. And I started thinking about why am I making these mistakes? And Grant, what I realized was that a lot of it were embedded when my father left as a 10-year-old boy. Because then I thought that was my fault. And then I thought I wasn't enough. So I had to dig deep. And it was the hardest therapy. And I started it 8 years ago. And I got my therapist tomorrow for 3 hours. Because it's a continuous, virtuous work. And I'm a flawed man, but I will continue to work at it every day. But ladies and gentlemen, for me, half the battle is knowing that you're a flawed person, but you're willing to stand up and work on it every single day.
That's awesome, man. So, a couple things. One, like those people that wouldn't respond to your emails, where are you at with those people today? Or did they just show their true colors?
Oh, they're returning the emails now. I'm the one that's not replying.
Yeah. And then talk to me, A-Rod, about liabilities and assets. I have the saying that liabilities can be your assets, and assets will always become liabilities at some point. Do you know what I mean by that?
100%. One of the things that a lot of athletes and entertainers and people, folks that grew up like my mother, with very little, they did not understand the difference between a liability and an asset. And it's counterintuitive. Whatever you think is an asset is a liability, and whatever you think is a liability is usually an asset. And people say, but Alex, I'm buying real estate. I said, no, but you have 9 homes, and each one of them costs you $1 million a year, so you have $9 million of negative cash flow. Grant and I own a building, 500 units, and it puts $1.5 million in our pocket every year. So when you perform that out and you forecast that over 10 years, the delta is about $25 million, right? And you do that for 25, 30, 40 years. You buy real estate, you hold on to it, you never sell, you refinance it. Sometimes you have to sell for a strategic reason, but then you land, and today, we're about 8,000 to 10,000 apartment units, and I have 2 regrets in real estate. I didn't buy enough.
Yep. And the second one?
And I sold.
Exactly.
And I sold. But it's okay. You have to sell sometimes. You got to get a double. Not everything's going to be a home run. There's no need to be greedy. Take a single. Take it off the table.
But had you had access to capital back then, you would have never sold anything.
Never. And we wanted to prove ourselves, right? We've put hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. We've bought well over $1 billion, $1.5 billion of real estate over the last 10 years. And we had LPs, we had limited partners, and we wanted to put money in their pocket, right? We wanted to build that track record. Now they're coming back to us, and they're saying, Alex, don't give me this money back. Keep giving me the cash flow. Now, you do monthly. That's incredible.
Yeah,
That's
were talking about the way I distribute money in the back.
I love that.
You tell them what you and I were talking about in the back.
I mean, I said, when do you do it? Quarterly? Once a year? He said, nah, I do it monthly. He said, everybody told me not to do it, and I do it monthly. We do it quarterly. Monthly is incredible. It's getting that cash flow every day is so
I want to be
vital.
paid every month.
Yeah, that's right.
Right?
Well, the bills come every month.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So why real estate? That first duplex you bought, 20 years ago. You paid $250. That was a lot of money back then.
It was tons. Now, the great thing about real estate is the bankers are lining up to lend on real estate, especially multifamily, not on retail. They're saying retail's dying, retail's dead. But multifamily apartments is the greatest asset because, as a child I know, that bill comes every month. The great Jerry Reinsdorf, who built this great fortune, most of these owners in sports all owned apartments, right?
Yep.
Probably a third of them. And Jerry Reinsdorf said to me, Alex, if you're 100% full, your rents are too low. If you're 85% full, they're too high. In the middle of a pandemic, we collected 94% of our rents in the middle of a pandemic. And we implemented programs, computers, teaching, because a lot of people are going through difficult times. They're homeschooling, which is very difficult for these young people. I mean, you imagine us having to do Zoom for high school or junior high? What a terrible situation for them. So you feel for them. So we're going into our communities and we're giving back and we're putting computers in place so they don't fall behind.
And you've owned real estate around the country. What states do you like right now?
I mean, I like the red states. Yeah.
Red.
Yeah. And
he visits blue states. But he invests in red states.
And look, all you want is you want pro-business, right? I mean, as business people, we employ so many people, we give so much opportunity that we've had a lot of success. We're in 14 states all over the Southeast, a couple out on the West Coast, but we keep it really simple. We buy about $100,000 a door, and our rents are from $800 to $1,200. We do all non-recourse debt, usually Fannie Mae, and we hold them IO for 10 years. And we just refinance every 10 years and just go to sleep. I used to get a little bonus. I would say, oh man, that's another couple apartments I could do with Grant, right? I would do a signing bonus.
Explain that.
Right. So let's just say when I was coming up, I made 40 or 50 G's. That was a lot of money, right? I got 40 G's. Well, if you don't have something to do with that 40 G's, what are you gonna do? It's gonna go away. You're gonna waste it. You're gonna buy a car, you're gonna buy a chain, you're gonna buy a watch. All stuff that are liabilities are gonna make you poor and work harder and stress when you're older. But what I would do is, do I wanna go to Atlanta and do a car show? I would say, I don't really want to. But if I have $40,000, that means I can buy $200,000 worth of apartments. So I just started thinking about the future. And I would take that 40 and I would send it to someone like Grant, or I would just go buy it with my company. This is when I was starting out. So every opportunity, I like to take it and say, I can grow here. And that's how I thought about it.
So just so you guys understand, you guys that aren't in the real estate, he gets a bonus for 40 grand. He could go spend it on a watch. That's 40 grand. And he's got a big watch collection, by the way. Or back in the day, he could say, I'm gonna take that 40 grand and I'm gonna leverage it and buy $200,000 worth of real estate. Okay, and that will cash flow and pay him over long periods of time. And I did exactly the same thing. Like I never spent any money. I had money and nobody knew I had any money because I would just take it and dump it all into the real estate. I'm always broke. How important has it been for that, to have that I'm broke mentality, to get up every day?
Every day I feel like I'm gonna go broke tomorrow. It's just the fear that keeps me kind of hungry, keeps me away from staying complacent. I am obsessed with process, not so much results. Results come and go, but if you get the team right, if you get the vision right, and then you get the process right, over time, you will be successful. And so many people want to jump to the conclusion. So many people want to get the best deal. Don't worry about getting the best deal early. Get in the room. How do you get in the room? How do you get in the conversation? How do you build your credibility? Today, I get on the phone with folks, and we raised $2.5 billion to buy the New York Mets. I would say we were the second winners. Steve Cohen won. We offered $2.4 billion. He offered $2.45 billion. So by $50 million, he bought the team, but we got a great experience. We have all these partners out there that all trusted us to put in $100, $200 million each in this deal.
Wow.
When you build credibility, when you scale, the funny part about business, it gets easier if you get the fundamental part right up front. What I mean by that, if I get Grant and I say, hey, Grant, we're doing this thing with Major League Baseball, $500,000. He'll say, where do I wire? He'll say, how much are you putting up? I'm putting up 2. How much is Jen doing? She's doing 2. Well, wait a minute. Why can't Elaine and I put up 2 too? And it changes, right? Because he looks at that as an opportunity. He knows we have a track record, is vetted, and maybe he wants to diversify because he has, say, 90% of his money here. He'll go, okay, I'll do a little venture over there. And what can we do with 10X, right? And you start kind of putting things together, and that's when it gets fun. But the point is, before you get in the call, people say the answer is yes. What's the question? And when can I have more?
Do you regret losing the Mets?
Not really. I do think that everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
And it frees me up to be the chairman, the CEO of our company. And there's so much that both Jennifer and I are doing on the business side. And we've taken her business from licensing to ownership. And what she's building is like historic. And to see people of color and a woman to build a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate, it's so fun to watch.
Yeah.
So I'm freed up. I'm freed up to do that.
Man, love him, man. Love him. Love him. It's Sunday. He's working on a Sunday. God damn. How important is it to collaborate and partner with other people and not try to do it by yourself?
It's everything. If you try to do it by yourself, it's going to take you 100 years. And listen, everything I've done to really screw up, I've done it by myself. Anything great that I've done has been with great people. You got to hire them, you got to find them, you got to pay them well, and you have to be aligned. And when you get great people, they can't walk out the back door. You got to retain your great people. And how you do that is you respect them. We don't have bosses. When I hire people, we're teammates. We have a reverse engineer mentorship program, which means seniors mentor freshmen, but more importantly, freshmen mentor seniors. Now, how can I know more about computer and internet than Ashley or Liz, who are in their 20s and, are doing their thing? You can't know everything, right? So you have to surround yourself with great people. Why are we world champions in 2009 with the New York Yankees? It wasn't because they had a great cleanup hitter. It was because I was a small cog of a great championship team. You have Andy Pettitte, Mariano Rivera, Derek Jeter. It's a great team, and an attitude is everything. George Steinbrenner taught me one bad apple can ruin our clubhouse. So if we have one bad apple, let's get their ass out of there.
And how do you do that? How do you, at this stage of your life, continue to filter people out? Like, okay, maybe it was a good relationship, maybe they've been really loyal to you, but now they're a bad apple. How do you start like, this got to end here? How hard, is that hard for you?
Yeah, it is hard, but you start with communicating. And everybody should know where they stand at all times. We have Monday morning meetings, and I break it down, and I'm very serious, and I don't hold back, right? And everyone is crystal clear where they stand, right? And then you meet with your team quarterly, and then you meet with them at the end of the year. And here are the 3 things you did great, and here are the 3 things I do bad. If Grant and I work together, we would have a system that I implemented about 20 years ago. It's called green, yellow, and red. Mike, what do you do for a living? All right, beautiful. So let me tell you the green, yellow, and red. You want to see an example of green, yellow, red? Okay, so we sit down. I said, Mike, let me start with the green. Fantastic, always on time, great energy. Your emails, I love it. Even if you're busy, you reply and you say, I'll get back to you in an hour. You're very responsive, love that. Yellow, you got to watch your tone of voice sometimes, the way you speak to people. I know you're stressful, I know you're busy, watch that. Not quite a red, but something to watch. And then the red, making it up, you got to put your seatbelt on when you drive. And do me a favor, no more zooming and driving. We don't do that at A-Rod Corp, right? But what happens is you structure the mind that you know a green, a yellow, and a red's coming. Because people never want to talk about red. But if you know it's programmatic, then you know it's coming. And actually, you now start looking forward to it, and then you put a plan in place to get more greens.
It's awesome, man. How do you go about, do you think about how you rebrand you now? How do you continue to rebrand? You're 45 years old. One day you'll be my age. How do you keep rebranding, staying fresh, staying the next thing?
I think fear is something to manage. The great Winston Churchill said, fear is a reaction. Courage is a choice.
Wow.
Right? And I got to tell you, towards the end of my career, I was going out to the line. I was coming to bat. It was 10 minutes before the game. I was wearing pinstripes, and I didn't have butterflies anymore. And I called my mom, and I called my brother and sister, and I said, I think the end is near.
Wow.
And then I retired on a summer night on August 12th of 2016 in front of a packed house, mom, 2 daughters, siblings, loved ones from Westminster Christian and from around the world. And I got home on a Friday night and I retired. I said, oh my God, it's over. And then 3 teams called me on Saturday and Sunday, as I said, almost depressed in my dark theater at home. And I said, I can't believe this shit. I started when I was 2, and now I'm 40, and it's over. And then 3 teams called and said, hey, Alex, you need 4 home runs to get 700. 4. And it took me about 5 minutes, and I said, no, thank you, no, thank you, no, thank you. Because what I realized, Grant, that for me, 696 as a New York Yankee is greater than 700 anywhere else.
Well, you, my friend, are a great example of somebody. Very few people come out of do what you've done in baseball, number one. Number two, to be able to transition and to become who you are today in business, a legitimate businessman, not a one-timer, but many times over and over. I look forward to doing some things with you in business. We're thinking about doing, maybe putting a fund together. He loves the way I go to the people and on using social media. And I'm doing that because, like he said about his mom never had access to deals. My mom could not invest in my real estate. Like, how unfair is that?
Yeah, and one thing I like that you do, you're talking about your social media, I think you do a fantastic job. Elena's fantastic. Both of you just make a dream team.
Thank
You got so much love from our family to yours and from mine to all of yours. Let's spread good energy. There's always something you can say that's positive. Bring people good things, and good things will come back to you. And I'll end by saying this, that Grant Cardone, when he does his social media, I sit down with my daughters at dinner, and they go, oh, God, not Grant Cardone again. Right, but they don't even like Dad, right? Like, they're at that age where they're like, Dad, honestly. Like, they used to laugh at all my jokes, Grant. All my jokes, I actually thought I was funny. Now, they don't even look at me when I'm saying my jokes. I said, baby, that was the punchline.
Yeah, exactly. You got a lot of competition.
But the way you break down cash flow, the way you make things easy and simple, and the inspiration that you're putting out to the world, you're doing God's work. I thank you. You're a friend, and thank you so much for having me here today.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Give it up for A-Rod. Come on, hit him hard. Thank you, man, thank you. Come on, guys, come on.